Channel 5, Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues.
Yeah, here I am. Everywhere I go, I have to watch and see if they're coming for me.
Do you feel you did anything wrong?
I did the best I could. I did.
A Cleveland woman is hiding from the police. Her 7 children are taken away from her because of these awful living conditions. Good evening. She's scared. She's worried. She wants her kids back, including a 13-year-old who escaped from the Department of Human Services.
Police and agents from the Department of Human Services search tonight for the missing child. Neighbors are coming to the aid of the rest of the children in an all-out effort to get the family somehow back together again. News Channel 5's David Christopher is following the story for us. He has been for the last couple of days. He joins us now live from the children's home. David, I understand a neighbor is willing to take all 7 children into her home. That's incredible.
Ted, it's something else, I'll tell you, and it is a major, major first step. But just take a look at the conditions around here, from a propane canister sitting out here and garbage. It's something you have to really see to believe. You know, from the odor coming outside this home to the deplorable conditions inside, it's really hard to believe that anyone could live here. But 7 children who love each other and love their mother lived through it for months. Tonight, as you mentioned, thanks to a neighbor, efforts are underway to somehow find a way to reunite the children in another home.
Love for kids. They all need a chance, you know. I came from a family of 12. I've raised kids all of my life.
Edna Crowley has already raised 5 children and half a dozen grandchildren. But tonight she's talking with the Department of Human Services about foster care classes, which would qualify her to take in all 7 of the Schaefer's children. The children were found living unattended in this home, surrounded by feces, garbage, and 12 inches of raw sewage in the basement.
I have 2 spare bedrooms, plans of getting bunk beds. Well, I have all these plans going around in my mind, but getting things in a house, stuff for the kids, I know I can do it.
I want to thank her. I want to thank her for loving my kids and caring so much that she's willing to bring them into her home and take care of them.
Along with Crowley, the Schaefers for over 5 years have been getting assistance from Cleveland WEWS. But Executive Director David Ross says no one had any idea how bad the situation in their home had become.
Was it deplorable? No question.
Ross says as bad as the situation appears, the Schaefers, in his opinion, are still good parents, but in need of serious assistance.
We will do everything to expedite and facilitate the children staying together, whether it's getting other housing arrangements. Cleveland WEWS is ready, willing, and able to stand behind the entire families.
As Cleveland WEWS battles to at least get temporary custody for Crowley, Schaefer is worried about where her 13-year-old child is after escaping from police.
When I seen him on TV last night was the first time I heard anything about him. That's it. And I love him, and I'm scared for him. He looks so scared.
And for her other children?
Yeah, I love you. I love you, and I'm going to get you back.
Now, police, along with the Department of Social Services at this hour, are still trying to find Daniel, but unfortunately, no luck at all at this point. Ted?
This is really a tangled situation here, David. Tell me, is the Department of Social Services, I'm sure you talked to them about this, willing to give custody back to Crowley?
Ted, as you can well imagine, it is a really, really tough issue. What they told me they try to look for is someone that really knows the children and is really respected by the children and get along. Crowley would be that person, according to her. Of course, it's now up to the department to make that final determination.
Sounds like to be fully resolved, this story has to be stripped by layer so that all elements can be examined thoroughly.
She's quite a lady, though, Ted.
Okay, David, thank you.
Sure.
Well, friends and family paid their final respects today to 15-year-old Carla Myers, the Akron teen who died Monday following numerous court battles to keep her alive. Her funeral did not draw the expected pro-life protesters opposed to her parents' choice to let Carla die. Instead, Carla was eulogized as a girl who was finally in a better place and touched all those who knew her.
Who cares, you know, and to think that, you know, how 1 minute someone could be there and 1 minute they're gone. How much, you know, you don't know how much you care about someone until they're gone. I mean, you just shows how much people love her.
Donations to defray funeral expenses can be made in Carla Meyer's name at any National City bank.
A Parma man says that he is innocent of all charges that he poisoned his wife with cyanide. Robert Gertz pled innocent to the charge of aggravated murder, and the judge set bond for him at $800,000. Parma police believe Gertz poisoned his wife Diane with cyanide back in September. Today, Diane Gertz's brother had a hard time describing just how much his sister meant to him.
She means so much. How do you take part of your body and part of your life and then condense it?
Jones has worked closely with police in the investigation and into researching Robert Gertz's past. The body of Gertz's first wife, by the way, will now be dug up, and an autopsy will be performed to see if there is any cyanide inside of her body.
Police badges and uniforms for sale. Mayor Michael White responds to our 5 on Your Side investigation tonight. You may have seen our report proving anyone can buy the items needed to look like a police officer because there are no laws preventing it. Mayor White says that's absurd and there needs to be a law.
We're going to look at it also. I mean, you've done, I think, a good job at looking at this issue. I think we ought to look at it. It's very plausible to believe that someone who wants to commit a crime, who wants to do it under cover of police authority, would go to this end to take these kinds of insignias. So if we can prevent it before something happens, I think we're better off. Too many times government is always fixing it after it's been broken.
City Council member Mike Polinsik says he's asking the Safety Commission to look at legislation to stop the sale of police equipment to anyone but law enforcement officials.
Talk about brazen. A bold holdup in North Olmsted has police there stumped and asking News Channel 5's Bill Youngkin for help. In his exclusive Crime Stopper report tonight, Bill says the thug got away with 3 large bags of loot. Yep, got away clean.
Folks are shocked over what happened at this Lorraine Road Drug Mart store just 2 weeks ago.
This is a safe neighborhood. I am here regularly and have never had any qualms about my safety.
North Olmsted police would like to keep it that way by catching the thug who was waiting for the store manager to leave to make a bank deposit. This is a police composite of the man who used a hunting knife with a 10-inch blade to rip off the loot. The night manager told detectives that the bad guy was sitting in a car parked right next to his and jumped out just as he and the stock clerk got close.
He stated to the manager, "Give me the money or I'll cut you up."
Police say he grabbed the 3 money bags and took off running. He was last seen headed toward the rear of the shopping center. The question police have is, was the bandit just lucky to be there when the manager left with the money? Or was he tipped off in advance?
That's a possibility. We're still looking into that. That's under investigation.
Police say they've had success with our Crime Stopper reports in the past. They hope they get the information they need this time. If you recognize the man in this police drawing, please call the Crime Stopper hotline. The number to call is 252-7463. For Crime Stoppers, I'm Bill Youngkin, News Channel 5.
And remember, all information to Crime Stoppers is kept absolutely confidential, and Crime Stoppers pays rewards of up to $2,000 to anyone helping solve a felony crime.
Racial comments from a state Supreme Court judge probably are not enough to reopen the Shaker barricades debate. That's Mayor White's opinion. Cleveland argued the barricades were meant to keep Cleveland blacks out of Shaker. But the Ohio Supreme Court sided with Shaker that the barricades are for traffic control. Supreme Court Judge Craig Wright admits to using racial slurs, but Mayor White says that does not mean the courts will rehear the case.
It would seem pretty remote. We are going to take another look at it just to make sure, but based on everything I've seen in government and based on the rulings as I know them, and I had to stay pretty close to it because, as you know, I was in the Ohio Senate, it is highly unlikely that we're going to be able to proceed down that path.
Well, a special panel tonight is investigating Wright's comments. The mayor thinks Wright should step down.
Another beautiful day in Cleveland today? Well, not quite. Almost, however. Let's check in with Don Webster and our 24-hour forecast as we check in upon tomorrow. Don?
Well, everything in the next 24 hours with the exception of sunshine. Well, this evening it's going to be cloudy, it's going to be windy with temperature falling down to about 30 degrees, and already it's just about there. Overnight, how about this one? Some snow, changing to freezing rain. We do have a weather advisory in effect for northern Ohio. Could get about an inch of snow before it starts to turn into freezing rain. Winds out of the northeast 15 to 25, low of about 28 degrees. The outlook now for tomorrow, snow, changing to sleet, changing back to rain once again, and then changing back to snow again tomorrow night. Winds out of the northeast 10 to 20 with a high of 38. I'll try to sort this out a little bit better for you in a few minutes with our 5-day forecast.
Thanks, Don.
Take
in a
your
nutshell,
pick there.
Stay in bed tomorrow. Don't get up.
Sounds good. Well, a piece of Cleveland's history went on the auction block today. We'll show you what's left of the downtown May Company store.
And did you tune in to watch the Michael Jackson special on TV5 last night? Well, you were not alone. Hear from a Cleveland woman who suffers from a similar skin disorder as Michael does. When News Channel 5 continues.
Presenting fresh Florida honey tangerines. They're every zing a snack should be. So tantalize zing, energize zing, so refresh zing. Fresh Florida honey tangerines. So sweet, so juicy, so easy to eat. And every bite'll make you want to